Tanto tiempo disfrutamos de este amor, nuestras almas se acercaron, tanto así que yo guardo tu sabor, como tú llevas también sabor a mí. Si negaras mi presencia en tu
KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prundale, K-Squid 89.5, 89.7, 90.7, KSQD.org. You're listening to From the Streets. And like I always like to start my shows off, I like to always give thanks to the Creator for allowing me to be here and allowing my guests to come into these spaces and to share their experiences, to inspire, to educate, and to motivate our youth. Creator, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can. Wow. We're here with Sylvia. Sylvia, how are you?
Well, as I mentioned when I walked in, that was a loaded question. I'm trying to catch my breath.
Sylvia came in like a comet. She rolled in here quick. You know, she was running a little late, but she made it.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, I want to say shout outs to Barrios Unidos, shout outs to Somos in Watsonville, shout outs to Milpa in Watsonville, shout out to Pajaro Valley Ethnic Studies for Justice. I'm glad that you're here, Sylvia. So you're the owner of California Coffee.
In Aptos.
In Aptos, yes.
Yeah.
And Sylvia, welcome to the show, first of all. Your story is described as one rooted in resilience. Can you share a bit about your journey and what initially inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thank you. Thank you for having me here today. It's definitely an honor. Thank you. And yes, so my journey has definitely been rooted in resilience. I grew up in a very challenging environment, and I heard you mention Prundale, so that's my old roots out there is in
really?
Castroville.
Wow.
And born and raised out there and very proud of it. It's a small little farming community. So yeah. Thank you. Anyway, so I grew up in a very challenging environment, and I was raised by my mother and father who were in the farming community out there, Artichoke to be specific. And unfortunately, my mom suffers from bipolar disorder. I didn't realize that till I was older. And my father was he suffered from alcoholism. So as a young Latina woman, and I wanted to say that, I wanted to start the basis with that because I know that so many of my young sisters, Latina sisters, are probably caught up in that same cycle that I was brought up in. So I wanted to make sure that I started the basis with that so they understand where I'm coming from, because those are the folks that I really want to speak out to today while I'm here. Anyway, as a young Latina in a traditionally male-dominant and often machista culture, I had to find strength early on. I learned how to be resourceful, independent, and determined, even when the odds were against me. And that was quite a bit, too. You know, I didn't have that support.
Yeah.
From the parents. I didn't have the support from my teachers. I really didn't. It was sort of like I had to learn everything on my own and figure things out. I almost feel like a lot of the kids, you end up raising yourself, right? Growing up, and you don't have anyone really to turn to, and you especially don't have role models. That's what's so sad is when you're growing up, you don't really have anyone to look up to.
Yeah.
And so you kind of had to figure things out on your own. So anyway, what inspired me to become an entrepreneur wasn't just a desire to be successful. It was the need for freedom and impact. I wanted to build something that reflected my values, allowed me to serve my community, and gave me the power to choose my own path. So owning a business from my coffee shop to my working with brokering businesses, sales, and as a notary, it's given me the platform to uplift others, create opportunities, and turn my past struggles into sources of purpose.
So let's give the listeners a quick background on you. I should have probably said, who you are.
Who
and
am
where
I?
You,
Yeah.
You know, you're the owner of California Coffee. How long have you been there for?
I want to say I'm going to go into my 5th year, August of this. Yeah.
How
4th or
many
5th
years?
year, 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Fifth year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought
no,
you-
no, no.
I thought you said 50 years. I'm like, hold on.
I'm not even that old. No, I'm just kidding.
No, so you've been there. You're going on 5 years.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
it's a popular place.
It has become.
You have music.
Yep.
You have educational workshops.
Yep.
I gotta say, she makes one of the best avocado toast breads
you.
right there. I always stop by there every morning, get my coffee. What else do you offer in that space?
I've also had I've officiated weddings there.
No way.
Yeah, it's been great. And for other events, business mixers.
I've seen that.
I hold my annual business mixer there with both the Pajaro Valley Chamber of Commerce and the Aptos Chamber of Commerce, and that's been successful. It's always a blast to do something with them.
Yeah.
And there's just so much. And just recently, we added the workshops. It's my workshop series for the summer. I have some great speakers that come out and speak on various topics. This last one that we had was around home health care and hospice and how to prepare yourself, because we just never know what'll happen to either our loved ones or ourselves.
And those are kinds of workshops that you don't find workshops like that.
No.
Who talks about hospice?
No.
Nobody does it.
Nobody.
And you're bringing that to the community.
Yeah.
That's like a great workshop to bring to the community, because those are questions that people don't like to normally sit down and talk about.
Absolutely. And it's scary to talk about, because you're touching on things that are sensitive. You know, my mom, my dad will pass away. How do I prepare? Are they prepared for it? You know, are there financial and everything, all their paperwork in order? And those are really delicate topics to talk about with your family, and also yourself. And if you have kids and children, you know, you at some point you have to have that heart-to-heart discussion with them, and it's difficult, you know. So
well, I'm grateful that you're bringing those kind of workshops, because I think those are important workshops.
Absolutely.
And it's giving some people a sense of relief to be able to find a workshop that's going to educate them,
Right.
and prepare them for that moment that's
we transition over.
Yes.
Because that's ultimately we're all going to transition over at some point in our lives. And this coming up workshop that I have on Thursday from 12 to 1 p.m. at the coffee shop will be around estate planning. You know, how to prepare for that also. It doesn't matter if you have assets or not, you have to be prepared also for that. So so we'll have Nick Holder with Holder Firm Law that will be there to talk more about that.
So your place, you would say the coffee shop is a local hub, right?
It sure is.
And it brings music, educational workshops, and welcoming atmosphere. What else are you part of in the community besides the coffee shop? What other things do you do in the community? Because I know that's not the only place.
Oh gosh, there's so much. I definitely work with the youth. One of my workshops will be speaking about, the e-bikes, the notorious e-bikes that we see. And I don't know in other communities, but I know in Aptos, I see a lot of our young children whizzing through there, no helmet, 3 on a bike. And, so if you were to ask me, Sylvia, what is the most important thing for you at that coffee shop? It's the youth. I always wanted to provide a safe haven for them to be at, to come in and study and just have a place to hang out. Yeah. So
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Especially for the youth, because the youth are the future leaders.
Yeah.
They're the future of our economy, our country, and all that. And so if we don't educate them and we don't take the time out to mentor them, then we can't complain later, right?
Omar, I think it goes deeper. I want to say that, I am a firm believer that it takes a village to raise a child. And I don't know about you, but I know when I was growing up, hey, if you were getting into any kind, because I was a little rambunctious little girl.
Not you.
Mischievous.
Not you.
I was a little mischievous. But you know what? I loved, looking back now, because the other moms from the neighborhood would scold me and my friends if we were getting into trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that they did that because, you know, you always knew there was somebody keeping an eye on you, no matter what corner you were hanging out with your friends at or anything. And they were going to tell your mom or dad.
Yeah. So you do that, all this great stuff, but you're also a broker.
I broker businesses with Coast Business Brokerage. I've been with them for over 15 years, 15. And so I've sold a multitude of businesses throughout all of Santa Cruz and Monterey County. And I love it. It's been my passion, and I enjoy it. And I've learned so much from these sales that I've conducted. So I learned from this both the sellers and the buyers and their new challenges that they encounter, and those are things that I think are so important that you, if you have something that you can learn from, you know, learn as much as you can, soak it up, because that's what I did with my profession. I learned as much as I could for my clients, so that I don't commit those same errors and such, and added whatever I needed to my coffee shop to improve on it. Mm-hmm.
What else do you do besides, you know, you do a lot of things. What else do you do? Is there anything else that you can add to that list?
Well, I serve on the board of the Santa Cruz Community Credit Union. I've been doing that for about, I want to say 6 years. And I enjoy it. It's a credit union that definitely caters to the underserved, especially the Latino community. Latino community. I need to correct myself. And I think it's important that we have those types of resources for the underserved communities of Santa Cruz County. I don't think we have enough up there.
And I'm so glad you're on the show because you're naming all these things that you're doing.
Yeah.
And if there's any youth out there listening, sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
Yeah.
You can be successful in this country. You can make a difference. Sylvia's doing it. She's a prime example of coming from Castroville.
The hood.
The hood.
Yeah.
The artichoke
capital of the
world, you know.
Yeah.
And you can do it.
Yeah, you can. You can.
A quick question. California Coffee is celebrated for the live music and educational workshops. Why was it important for you to incorporate these elements beyond just serving coffee? And I got to say, when I go to that place, I walk in there, it's almost like I get this vibe of mi casa es tu casa. You're so welcoming.
That's right.
So why did you incorporate all these other things? Why was it important for you?
When you say things, are you talking about like the workshops and
the music?
The music, okay.
Everything that because it's not just your regular workshop. I mean, coffee shop.
No, it's not. We're not your definitely not your standard coffee shop that you go into. So that's a really good question. For me, the coffee was just the starting point, but the deeper vision behind California Coffee was always about healing and connections. So growing up in a toxic environment, as I mentioned, you know, at home, music became my escape, especially when my parents were arguing or beating up on each other.
Right.
Unfortunately, it was my peace, my therapy, and a way to tune out the chaos. And that's why incorporating live music into the space was so important to me. It's more personal. And I wanted to create a place where others could feel the same sense of calm and joy.
And healing.
And healing.
Yes.
It's so important that we heal, because I think all of the majority of us, especially those who came from the type of upbringing that, you know, I did, we have a lot of traumas and we need to heal. And that's a journey and a work that we need to do for ourselves on a daily.
Yes.
Yeah. So music is important to me. I have to have music.
Yes. Music. You always have good music in there.
Yeah.
And one thing you left out on the list of things that you do.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there.
Okay.
I met Sylvia dancing salsa.
That's right.
Salsa. She's a great salsa dancer. But we hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, K Squid 89.5, 89.7, 90.7 on ksqd.org.
cielito que canto aquí viene del agua azteca, cielito lindo solo por ti. Este cielito lindo, lindo cielito que canto aquí viene del agua azteca, cielito lindo solo por ti. Ay, 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 sí, ay, 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 no lo desprecies, porque tendrás la culpa, cielito lindo, que se regrese.
KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale. Sylvia, we were talking about your shop and all the stuff that it offers.
Yeah.
Your patio that you have
patio.
there.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness! So, when I first bought the business, it was the patio was it looked like a desert. It was just I mean, it was awful.
Some tumbleweeds rolling
Tumbleweeds. I mean, se miraba bien feo. But anyway, I have this landscaper. His name is Martin Ballesteros with Ballesteros Landscape. Mm-hmm. And I said, Martin, you know what? I want Mexico Tropical to meet Hawaii Tropical. And he said, Sylvia, I can get you that. I said, wonderful. So that's what he brought me. He brought me this tropical vibe. So when you go in there, you feel like you're literally, I've had people say, oh my God, I feel like I'm in Hawaii or Mexico, the tropical side, right? Because I have these beautiful flowers, colorful, and palm trees.
And the little pond.
And the little water fountain
little
gives you that sense of just Zen kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful patio. And we also use it for our open mic nights on Thursday nights. I forgot to mention that's another thing that we offer there at the shop. So all you creative musicians and comedians and poets, you're definitely invited to come out Thursday nights, 5 to 7. I offer open mic there at the coffee shop. And
then you walk into the coffee shop, and then to the right, you have a fireplace and some couches with some guitars.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of everything. The vibe changes as you walk through that coffee shop.
And it depends what section you're at, because I try to also incorporate a lot of my Latino, roots in there. You'll see Frida Kahlo, because I'm a huge Frida Kahlo fan.
Yeah.
And then you'll see my my sugar skulls, and then you'll see my Catrinas, because I love my Catrinas. And then when you go into the lobby, you'll see a surf video playing on the TV and a surfboard, and then all these colorful artist paintings. And
I've seen those artist
artwork.
paintings. Those are very beautiful. Tell me a little bit about those paintings. They're pretty.
They're all from different artists. So the one that I have on my big wall is from Elle, and she does these beautiful under the sea artwork that I as soon as I saw it, I said I want her in my shop, and she was so generous to bring her artwork there. And from there on, I just have other artists that have brought in their artwork.
And people that make other different crafts, because I've seen that you have cups, coffee mugs with plants in them, little cactuses.
Yeah.
I've seen that you have some chocolates
jewelry
there.
También.
Jewelry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a huge supporter of our local artists. I'm a huge supporter of our local entrepreneurs, especially if they're women. I'm always supporting them.
Que viva la mujer.
Que vivan las mujeres, and I want to bring them up. So many times you see people that are trying to suppress you, and not everyone's like that. I want them to know that. When you come to my shop and you pitch your idea, I'm going to try to uplift you and help you. Because I think it's important that we all help each other and support each other.
Yeah, a lot going on in a small little spaces, a lot going on, but that's good. That's good. You offer a lot to the community, and those are the spaces that we need.
Absolutely.
To build community.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that that's there. What are some of the most common challenges or misconceptions entrepreneurs face when navigating the business landscape, and how do you guide them through those challenges?
Shouldn't we go back to number 4 there?
You want to go there? Okay, let's go to number 4. Sylvia. Okay, beyond California Coffee, you're also a business broker with Coastal Business Brokerage. What drew you to helping others buy, sell, and grow their business?
Okay, so yes, beyond California Coffee, I also broker businesses sales with Coast Business Brokerage for 15 years. And in that role, I help people buy, sell, or grow small to mid-sized businesses, whether someone's ready to retire, transition out, or just explore new opportunities. My role is to guide them through the entire process from valuation. So I let them know what the business is worth, right? And then I market and negotiate the contracts, the sale. And any leases that need to be negotiated, I also help them with that and work something out that's favorable with the landlord. And I manage the escrow all the way to till we close the deal. And for me, it's more than just transactions. I see it as helping people move into the next chapter of their lives with clarity and confidence. I've been an entrepreneur myself, so I understand both the emotional and financial weight that comes with selling or buying a business.
Right.
And my goal is always to make sure that the journey is smooth and it's as empowering as possible for both sides. Yeah.
That you wear a lot of many hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said that you do the escrow too?
I manage the escrow.
Oh, you manage.
So I have to open escrow somewhere. It's similar to selling a house, but I do have to open escrow.
Yeah.
But even that requires managing, hand holding quite a bit. So on both sides.
Yeah.
You got to remember, this is something that people don't understand, and I have to make it clear especially to the buyers. When someone is selling a home, they're ready to make that move. They want to either upgrade or downgrade, whatever, but they're ready, right? When you're selling a business, you're putting your blood and sweat into that business, building it. So you're not just going to hand your baby, because literally that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not just going to hand your baby to anyone. You want to make sure that person is going to take good care of your baby.
Yeah.
And is going to
continue the
hard work and nurture it and help it grow. So I've dealt with some transactions where the buyers and the sellers have met, and the seller will look at me, after the meeting is over and say, they're not a good fit, So no, it doesn't matter how much money they offered. It's not about the money. It's about, can you continue the legacy and everything?
Yeah, the legacy, yes.
Yeah.
And what drew you to helping others, what are some of the most common challenges or misconceptions entrepreneurs face when navigating the business landscape, and how do you guide them through those challenges? We just talked about that.
I'm giggling. No, I'm giggling because the biggest misconception, I'm going to go into all of these other ones, but the biggest misconception is that they think that they're going to be rich instantly and that they don't have to work and they don't have to put any effort and it's going to run itself.
Wow.
Yeah. And then once they go into actually running the business, they realize, wow. Again, I'm going to use the example of like the metaphor of a baby. It's like you have a baby 24/7 and that baby needs your attention all the time.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, another one is the misconception that I would say is that they think that passion alone is enough to succeed in the business. And while passion is important, it must be paired with planning, financial awareness, and willingness to adapt. And many entrepreneurs are also underestimate how much time and energy it takes, not just to start a business, but to sustain it and grow it. And another common challenge is not having an exit strategy. A lot of people pour their heart into building something, but don't think about how or when they're eventually transitioning out.
Or what if?
Yeah.
What if?
Do you have a successor also?
Yeah.
There's some multitude of reasons why,
And I think right now with the current situation that this country's in, there's a lot of that what if.
Yeah.
We don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. And I don't even want to get into that conversation, but there's a lot of uncertainty. That's lingering.
Absolutely.
People are uncertain what's going to happen in the future, where we're going to be, if we're going to be with all these cuts and all these things that are going on. And so, that's something that you have to take into accountability now is what if.
What if? You don't, and you don't have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, you don't want to be caught by surprise. So it's always good to have an exit strategy, and what you're in anything. I think just in basic life, you should always have some sort of plan. You know, if this happens, I got to do this, or I'm going to move here, or something, right? But so many of us are kind of in our bubble, and we don't think we're going to be impacted.
We haven't thought that far ahead.
Yeah.
In your role at the credit union, you advocate for financial empowerment and equitable access to resources. Can you elaborate on why these issues are so crucial for community well-being?
Absolutely. So for me, financial empowerment and equitable access to resources are absolutely essential for the health and well-being of any community. When people don't have access to fair credit, financial education, or support systems, they're more likely to stay stuck in cycles of poverty or debt, and that doesn't just impact individuals; it affects entire families and neighborhoods. So, through my role at the credit union, I advocate for breaking down those barriers. I believe everyone deserves the opportunity to build a stable financial future, whether they're opening their first savings account, starting a small business, or trying to buy a home. And I've seen firsthand how access to the right resources can completely transform someone's life. And I take myself, for example, I'm a single mom, so I raised my 2 boys on my own. And so people might look at you and say, or might, especially a single mom, I totally understand the struggles. It's so hard to raise children on your own. And especially in California, forget about it. La renta, the mortgage, the whatever, right?
They got to have the newest shoes, the newest clothing line.
Yeah, ahora con los e-bikes, I'm just happy my boys weren't around. Growing up with that, they would have broke me. Yeah. But there's challenges and knowing what resources are available. And I'm so fortunate to have the background that I do with brokering businesses and selling businesses, because I knew when I bought the coffee shop, I knew exactly which lender to go to, who to get help from, and how to get the process started. And that's where folks, I think, are give up too easily, because they think that just because one bank said no to them,
that it's over.
That's over.
Sylvia, hold that thought. You're listening to Talk of the Bay with your host, Omar Diéguez, from the streets. KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, 89.5, 89.7, 90.7 K Squid. We'll be right back.
En esta tierra de sol que dice Cuba se llama, en esta tierra de sol que dicen Cuba se llama, linda pie de tambor, ay, 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 donde llama tu verás, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, en Guantánamo nacida, cuerpo y alma encendida.
You're with your host Omar Diéguez from the streets, and in the studio we have Sylvia Reyes. Sylvia, we were talking about, how you broker these businesses, and how some people, they get that answer, no, you don't qualify, whatever. Yeah. How important is it to build relationships with these banks, with these lenders, and build these relationships not to make money, but to see how we could find a solution to help some of these people reach their dreams?
Absolutely. Well, when I broker a business, I don't make any money with the lender. Mm-hmm. So let's make sure I clarify that part there. Yeah. So, but I have the connections and the resources to be able to direct somebody to the right lender that will help them. And when you're dealing with a lender for, say, a business, you want to go with someone who has who can provide you with an SBA loan. Mm-hmm. That's Small Business Administration. That's a small business loan. And I always, if you're going to be thinking about buying a business, which I highly recommend. If you want, especially in these times, you might want to consider that you could buy yourself a job. And that's basically what I did with my coffee shop. I bought myself a job. I just, I wanted to do something different.
I've never looked at it that way. You're buying yourself a job.
You're buying yourself a job.
Because it's a job.
It is. And let me backtrack a little bit. When I bought the coffee shop, I had zero idea of how to work an espresso machine. Zero idea what a latte was. Never had a latte. Mm-hmm. I only had café de olla, okay?
Yeah. Con canela.
That was about the most fancy dancy I would drink. Y un pan dulce, But when I bought the business, I knew that I had to get trained. And that was part of my contract when I had the seller. Before she exited, I made sure that she stayed on for a while so that I could get trained.
Yeah.
And that's basically what you would be doing when you buy a business. You buy your job.
Do you still have a relationship with the person?
I do. She's my landlord, so yes.
Oh.
I have, but it's a good relationship, and she's very proud of what I've done with her baby.
Yeah.
Right? She handed her baby to me, and I've taken it to a whole different level, and she's very proud and she's very happy. And every time she comes in, she tells me how happy she is with what I've done.
That must be rewarding for her to see that.
Yeah.
And to experience that, to see your growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sylvia, there's a saying que dice la cultura cura, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Across all your ventures, a strong theme is your passion for connection and cultura, right?
Yep.
How do you intentionally weave these elements into California coffee, your brokerage work, and your community service?
So connection and culture are at the heart of everything I do. And at California Coffee, I create a space where people feel welcomed and seen through music, workshops, and a warm and a warm, inclusive vibe. In my brokerage work, I build personal relationships and guide clients through major life transactions and care and honesty. And in my community service, I focus on access and equity, making sure everyone has a seat at the table, no matter the venture. It's all about uplifting people and celebrating the richness of our shared experience.
Awesome. I mean, and la cultura, you carry la cultura through your shop, through the coffee shop. I see it when you walk in. You have
music.
Sometimes you're playing salsa.
Yep.
Sometimes you're playing corridos, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the vibe is at the moment. You
Lila Downs.
Yeah, and then you got the art throughout the shop.
Yeah.
And
I welcome my customers, especially those that I know speak Spanish. I welcome them in our native language, and they appreciate that, believe it or not. They feel like they're at home.
Yeah.
And I work with Chuy,
Chuy, ¿cómo estás, Chuy? If you're listening.
Chuy, yes.
Le mandamos saludos a Chuy que se ponga a trabajar y que ponga atención.
Sí, si no lo voy a regañar.
Chuy.
But he and I have a blast every morning, as you witnessed. Yeah. We like to pick on each other. We're like brothers and sisters, and people love it. I mean, they love to come and visit us and just talk to us and share their life experience, what's going on in their lives, and it's more than community now. It's become more of like family,
Sylvia, what does helping others succeed mean to you, and what are some of the most rewarding moments you've experienced in that process?
So helping others, for me, succeed means lifting people up so they can realize their potential. And the most rewarding moments are when I see someone gain confidence, whether it's a client selling their business, a workshop attendee learning something new, or a customer finding peace over a cup of coffee. So, and me being able to empower, especially the youth. When the youth come in, I like to teach them something new. Believe it or not, sometimes I'll teach them how to count money back. That's like an art that's lost, and unfortunately sometimes when I hire these kids, I realize that they don't have the skills anymore to even identify what a dime and a nickel are. I'm like, wow,
because everything's done by the phone.
Everything's on the phone.
Everything's calculated for you. Everything, you don't have to think anymore.
I know.
But you know what I liked about the other day? I took some of the youth into your coffee shop, and I go, introduce yourself to Sylvia, and they're like kind of shy and this and that. And no, hold on, put your hand out. And you made him you taught them how to have a firm handshake.
Have a firm handshake.
And look at me in the eyes when you say hello.
And you
do
smile.
it with confidence.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what kids need today.
Yeah.
They need that mentorship, that ganas que les enseñen que sí son los values, that they have values, that they learn these old ways.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that you did that.
Well, I want to build their confidence.
Yeah.
And that's a way to build it, and I'm hoping that one of them will go off and say, hey, you know what? The next time I shake someone's hand, I'm going to look them in the eye and say, hi, my name is Omar,
But that was an important lesson.
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of the best lessons they got that day. Because that is very important that they learn those things. Those things go a long ways.
Oh, it's going to take them far. I mean, believe it or not, especially when you're sitting at a table with board members or you're out there networking at mixers, that handshake is going to totally does. And believe it or not, you are judged by the way you shake your hand.
Yeah.
Are you a person with confidence,
and the smile goes a long way?
Or are you a person that's, hi, Yeah. So,
man, I'm gonna have to work on my handshake now. As a dynamic Latina entrepreneur, what advice would you offer for young people, especially women and minorities who are aspiring to pursue their own business or community leadership path?
So my advice is to believe in your voice and your vision, even when it feels challenging. Surrounding yourself with supportive people, stay curious, and don't be afraid to take risks. Your unique perspective is strength. Use it to lead with passion and resilience. And another thing I'd like to add to that is that sometimes you need to cut out the toxicity, meaning it could be friends, family, people that don't support you. You need to cut them out because they will hinder you and they will bring you down and make you second guess yourself. And it's normal and natural to make mistakes. God, I've made so many mistakes, in my life, but I appreciate them. I wouldn't change anything in the world for them because I learned from those mistakes. Yeah. That's how you learn and become wise.
And having a bad experience or having toxicity in your life, some people don't know how to deal with it. They'll complain, but they'll never do anything to fix them. But sometimes you got to sit back and look at the situation and learn from it. Yeah. And I think that's a lesson that we need to teach our young people from an early age. Yeah. Because it would. I know if somebody showed me about that or talked to me about that, I think I would have been further in life today,
Absolutely.
But like you said, I don't regret anything I've lived. No. I don't regret all those bad moments because I learned from them.
Right. But I think you're in the same boat that I was. We didn't have mentors. I don't know about you, but I really didn't have a Latina that I could look up to and say, I want to be powerful like her. Growing up, we didn't have that. I think the closest thing that I can think of was Oprah for me. Oh. Really. And, she's a Latina. Yeah. But I loved how powerful that she broke barriers. And I knew then that I wanted to break barriers too. And so I've always, from my ag businesses, working in ag, industry, that's my background is in agriculture, working in these male dominant positions, and jobs, it helped me. It made me feel, build the confidence, and it also empowered me to keep moving forward and breaking those barriers because I knew somebody had to do it. Yeah. And I wanted more of my young girls to be able to say, hey, if she did it, I can do it.
Échale ganas, sí se puede, one day at a time.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Before we wrap it up, is there anything a message you want to send to the youth? Like, if I'm a youth right now and they're listening to our show, what advice do you have for them?
For the youth, I would say, definitely, I want you all to love yourselves. Don't listen to the outside noise. Yeah. And read books, educate yourself. Knowledge is power, and definitely always find someone that can inspire you, whether it's an author or someone that you find on YouTube. I know this is going to sound crazy, you guys, but I'm a huge fan of David Goggins.
I don't know who David Goggins is.
Okay, well, you'll have to YouTube him. But, he motivates me to go to the gym. And he motivates me every time I think, oh, not today, maybe tomorrow. And then I hear, get your butt up. You can, so find that inner voice or somebody that's going to motivate you and mentor you. Oh my gosh, I have to thank all my mentors. And so if you can find someone that aligns with all what you want to aspire to be, then definitely that's the way to empower yourself. But the main thing is cut out all of those toxic people in your lives. And, and unfortunately, not everyone is going to be able to go with you where you're going. So you got to let go. And that's the hard part. And I think so many people are held back, especially our youth, because they're friends, because they're influenced by their friends. And I want them to learn to just, you could do it on your own.
Yeah. And Sylvia, what do you do to stay grounded yourself? How does Sylvia stay grounded when you have those tough moments? Because even being successful with all the things that you do, life shows up sometimes.
Absolutely.
So what do you do to stay grounded besides drinking a lot of coffee?
Nah, I don't drink a lot of coffee. I only have one cup.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Grounded coffee?
But if, you know what? If I'm happy, I go to the gym. If I'm sad, I go to the gym. If I'm having just a regular day, I go to the gym. So the gym is my outlet. And I encourage everyone to find their outlet. It doesn't have to be the gym. It could be walking in nature, having that spiritual connection, going to yoga, playing pickleball. I don't care. Just do something active to release all of that stress. And that's the number one thing that I think people don't realize, that causes so many illnesses, whether it's se les desarrolla el diabetes or cancer or whatever. They're not taking care of their inner self, and you got to really cut out that time for you. So I cut out an hour. Everybody knows that, I'll have people, hey, Sylvia, we want to see. Nope, I got to go to the gym. I got to go to the gym because that's my time. Yeah. And, I dedicate so much time to everybody else that I need to have my time. So I take care of that. It's my precious time, my 1 hour to myself.
I got to learn a lesson from you because I sometimes it's hard to say no. I'm so involved with things and it's hard to say no, but I have to learn how to say no and get away and do my time, like you said. Yeah. My time is important to learn to appreciate and love yourself and ground yourself and
meditate. Meditate is so important too. Meditating, and you kind of shared with me that you do connect somehow spiritually, right? Right. And if you can do that, you know what? It's going to heal your soul. Just connecting with Earth, with God. However that you need to do, do it for yourself. Just 1 hour. It's okay to take an hour for yourself.
Yeah. And I want to ask you some personal questions now, okay? Sylvia.
Yes.
What is your favorite comfort food?
Oh, my God. I love everything. Let me see. Ay, Dios mío, let me see. Pozole.
Pozole?
Oh, I love pozole. Yeah. You know what? I have to share this very quick. Do we have time?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. So I used to, back when I was doing real estate, I got in right as the market crash occurred.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to figure out how to build my business. Yeah. Because there was no phone calls or anything coming in. So I started doing workshops to help people, educate them on short sales and stuff like that. Anyway, I learned how to do modifications, and I did it for free for all of my clients. That's why I have so many people that love me, and especially in Watsonville and Salinas. Yeah. And I help save their homes, and they'd be like, "Hi, Sylvia, let me pay you." And I go, no. But you will invite me to any fiesta that has pozole. You could pay me with pozole. Yeah. And you know what? For the longest time, I would have like pots of pozole delivered to my house.
Well, that's cool. So your comfort food is pozole.
It's pozole.
What's your favorite color?
It's like a Tiffany kind of blue green, sea green blue. Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of music do you like to listen to?
Oh my God, there's so many. God, you got me good because I played so many of a variety. Cumbia, cumbia, and some like Erykah Badu type of music.
Yeah.
Angie Stone. What do they call that?
I don't know.
It's something soul.
They
I
call
don't know.
yeah. Today's music and the names that they give them, they're a mix of a little bit of everything. You know, it's
yeah.
just, I call it happy music.
It's happy. Hey, it makes me happy, and also of course reggae.
Oh, reggae is good.
Yeah,
yes.
I like a little reggae, a little Bob Marley.
One final question that I want to ask you: what is the happiest memory that you've ever shared at California Coffee? Is there a moment that stands out?
Yes. Do I have time to share this one?
Yes.
I'll make it quick. It's gonna be funny.
Okay.
So I had just got the business, and Chewy walked in, and if no one knows Chewy, he's a bartender at the Wooden Nickel in Watsonville. Okay, he's there from 3 to 9 p.m. Monday
Chewy.
through Saturday. But anyway, so Chewy walks in. He goes, "Hey, Chivis." He calls me Chivis. Te vine a felicitar, I came to congratulate you. So he gives me a hug and, congratulates me. I'm like, right on, thank you. And then he gently scoots me over and he walks to the back, and I'm like looking at my manager that I had hired, and we're looking at each other. And I said, Chewy, what are you doing? He says, I came to work. So now the joke is, Chewy tells people, I hired myself and I can fire myself. So, but ever since he and I have been together there, you know what? That's my happy moment.
I wasn't sure if he was hired or if he was volunteering every time I go there. It's hard to tell, but you guys do have a dynamic relationship, and I think that's what makes California Coffee the place that it is.
Yeah. We're a great team, he and I, and he gets down on making those burritos every morning, and
complains why he does it.
He complains as he does it too.
That's why they come out so good.
That's right.
Is there anything else you want to share? We got a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you want to share before we close the show? A message to the people, whatever.
Well, I want to invite you all. We're having a band, a bluegrass band. They're theatrical musical coming up on August 9th. They're called Coffee Zombie Collective. Okay. And I hear they're really fun. You can check that out and more information on all the events that I have happening at cacoffeeaptos.com. And definitely come on out for the workshop that's coming up on estate planning this Thursday, the 24th.
So how can people look you up? Is there a website what is it?
cacoffeeaptos.com. So www.ca, that's Charlie Adam, Coffee Aptos, Adam Paul Tom Oscar Sam.com.
Right on. Thank you, Sylvia. It was a lot of fun to do the show with you. You offered a lot of good information.
Yeah.
And you gave a good, strong message to the youth, que sí se puede, and there is opportunity out there to grow and to invest in a business.
And one more thing.
Get yourself, what would you say? Buy yourself a job.
Buy yourself a job. But one more thing. I want to thank God for everything.
Yes.
Everything. I couldn't be here without him.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. You're you're listening to From the Streets with your host, Omar Diéguez. You're on KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, K-Squid 89.5, 89.7, 90.7, KSQD.org. Thank you, and that was the show. Santa Cruz, you are listening to KSQD with your host, Omar Diéguez, From the Streets. And I would like to make a statement. A statement, why am I doing a 30-day hunger strike against pesticides in Watsonville and Pajaro? My name is Omar Diéguez, and I am committing to a 30-day hunger strike, surviving only on water, to demand immediate action to stop the use of harmful pesticides near our schools and in our communities, in Watsonville and in Pajaro. This is not just a protest. This is a call for justice, for life, and for the future of our children and our land. The problem: pesticides are being sprayed dangerously close to more than 10 schools in our county. Every day, our youth, teachers, elders, pets, farm workers, indigenous people, and families are exposed to toxic chemicals. These pesticides contaminate our water, poison our air, damage our soil, and harm Mother Earth. This is personal for me. I myself have suffered from the impacts of pesticides exposure, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. My family has suffered, my close friends have suffered, and my community continues to suffer. We carry the scars of this poison in our bodies and our lives. Scientific evidence shows that these pesticides can cause cancer, birth defects, respiratory illness, ADHD, learning disabilities, tumors, and many more. They remain in our environment for years, continuing to harm long after they are sprayed. Driscoll's is a multi-million-dollar corporation operating in our community and has the power to stop this harm immediately. They are fully aware of the damage these pesticides cause, yet they continue to spray them near our schools and neighborhoods. We demand that Driscoll's takes responsibility and stop all pesticides used near schools and homes. We demand that they transition to organic farming now and provide proof that they have ended the use of these chemicals. This must end now. Some of the pesticides being used are made with chemicals once used in gas chambers during war. These should never be anywhere near children, yet they are being sprayed in our communities. This hunger strike is not about me. I put my body on the line because the health and lives of our peoples are at stake. Corporate profits should not be placed above the well-being of working class communities of color. Our farm workers, our indigenous people, our youth and families have suffered long enough. We demand change. We demand accountability. We demand that no more lives be lost, no more people suffer, and no more poisons be sprayed where we live, work, and learn. This is a fight for life. This is a fight for justice. Join me. Si se puede.